Okay, let's see if we can get through a video without my little person sneaking up on me. She's in bed right now, but lately she's been waking up and, like wanting me to put her right back to bed and everything. So, hi everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Ooh. At last count, I was at 185 subscribers. I really appreciate it. It was funny. So the other day, I was saying to my co-parent, when I'm around you, people subscribe to me. And I was joking about it. Do you know, okay, I had not had any new subscribers in what felt like several days, right? I was like stuck at 182. Next thing you know, I'm at 185. So I'm like, yeah. So I'm very grateful for that. Another thing. So, this video, I want to cover weight loss updates. I want to talk about my feelings of dating and, that kind of stuff, whatever. Spoiler alert, I'm not dating, but I want to kind of get into some stuff. Let's see. I just had different things on my mind. Okay, so on a couple of my videos, I got these are older videos of mine, I got some comments and I told myself, oh, I'm gonna rewatch the older of the two videos that got a comment on it, but I pretty much have the gist of what I was saying at that time because I didn't rewatch it, I forgot to. But the video was about my glowing up series or whatever, and I'm still on my glow up journey. It's been moving in slow motion like a turtle, but it's happening. You guys, my house is like a freaking horror movie right now. I have a light that is blinking really heavy, and it's so freaking creepy, dude. And then I'm like paranoid about my daughter sneaking up on me because I'm one of those people that I get scared very easily and stuff. So I feel like I'll be in the middle of saying something really deep, and then my daughter will be like, Mommy, or she'll just like sneak up behind me. I'll be like, ah! So that's my fear. So I'm kind of like on edge right now. I'm sorry. And then I got this damn flickering horror movie light going on in my background. But in other news, so you have been warned. Yeah, okay. Where am I going to start? Let's start with weight loss. We'll get that out of the way. So today I came in at 299.4. Lowest thus far has been 295.2. That means I'm 4.2 up. What gives? What's going on? Well, I've been eating a lot, and I also have been slacking on my 10,000 steps a day, or I had been for most of the month of June, because June is almost over already. And for most of this month, I have been falling short of my 10,000 steps a day. I got it in a couple of days ago. Well, let me clarify. Today is now it's the night of the 20th, really more like the 21st, right? On the 20th, I did not hit my goal. Womp womp. I came close. They said that I hit like, I want to say 8,400 steps or something like that, but I didn't quite hit it. And so I was kind of sad about that. I was kind of like, sour about it, but I'm like, whatever, But the 2 days before that, I did hit my goal, and I do want to make a point of trying to hit my goal for the rest of the month. Okay, I really want to try. So that's one. Two, sorry. Like I said, I'm paranoid, y'all. My baby, she scares the hell out of me sometimes. I'll be like minding my own business, and then she'll like sidle up, and I'm like, ah. Anyway, so what else is going on? Okay, as I mentioned, I have not been eating the greatest combined with not doing my steps. I'm convinced that the reason why I finally got under 300 pounds was because I was eating a little bit more conscientiously, but more importantly, because of my steps. Because I was still like not eating perfect and stuff, but I think me getting in those 10,000 steps a day and sometimes more than 10,000 steps a day really made a tremendous impact and was keeping me under 300 pounds. And I've actually been going over 300 a little bit. And then I just, yesterday on the 20th, I finally got like down to 299.4 again. So I've just been kind of bouncing around. It's been mostly over this past week. I'm also going through my time of the month right now. But usually right before my time of the month happens is when I lose weight. And this time I had a mini whoosh, and then meaning like the weight, water weight went away, and then it like came back because I was eating poorly. I've been eating a lot of Panda Express, and I've told myself stay away from Panda Express moving forward for a while, but anyway. And if I just stuck to the grilled chicken teriyaki and the super grains, I'd be good. But I like to do the orange chicken, and now my daughter kind of got me hooked on that honey walnut chicken, or not honey walnut chicken, honey walnut shrimp. And also my ex got me hooked on the Beijing beef. They're like food pushers, and they got me hooked on those. So yeah, so I just need to kind of stay away from them for a little while. And I also have to really dedicate myself to my process, because I don't want to be anywhere near this heavy come the end of this year. Like, I have really big plans for myself near the end of this year, and I really want to look nice, and I want to feel good about myself, and I want to take some pictures and all of this, and I'm tired of looking like this, and yet I keep doing the same thing. And it reminds me of a conversation I had with my friend Jay recently, where we were talking about the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I have certainly been doing that. So yeah, I do plan on moving my weight loss into another direction, and really like starting today, really taking things a lot more seriously and keeping you guys updated on that journey. And I have never quit, or like since I've been on this journey, I've never quit my journey or anything, and I haven't quit recently. It's just like I've been, effing up a lot lately, and I'm just trying to get back on track. So there you go. Okay. Next. So, and this also ties into, I guess, my weight loss journey. Two things. One is, I've been obsessed with the mermaid videos. I've been doing those little mermaid videos, and in case you don't know what in the heck I'm talking about, let me see if I can find it. Give me one moment, please. Hold on, my loves. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is that guy, Dentist. I like him. And he's kind of cute if we want to talk about it. I think he's married, though. Okay, I posted this on an... Oh, no. This is not it. I thought this is my old account. Okay, Extreme Makeover, from when I had lost a whole lot of weight and everything. But yeah, this is the mermaid video. This is not on this current account, but this is one from another account that I have. I am so gonna get flagged. Let me turn this shit down. I'm sorry, you guys. They're gonna be like, wait a second, you got copyrighted music, so I just muted it. My bad. I forget. I'm not supposed to do that. But this AI thing, not that y'all want to sit up here and watch this whole damn thing, but how it works is on TikTok, you put a picture of yourself and they transform the picture into like a moving AI picture of you and or AI, you know, kind of style video of you and everything. And anyway, it makes you look like a mermaid and stuff. And I'm gonna level with you guys. I think I look so beautiful. I think in some of these pictures they have me looking like Beyonce. Anyway, but yeah, I just think I look so beautiful. And one of the things that came to mind when I was looking at these, I was thinking to myself, like, I hate that I'm fat. Like, I feel like the thing that stands between me and looking like that, even though it's not this simple, but I tell myself, I'm like, it's because I'm so fat. Now, there's some truth in that, but it's not entirely true. I'm sure there's a little bit more to it. Like sometimes these AIs, they will mess with my nose. They don't always mess with my nose, or at least not mess with it very much, but sometimes they'll mess with my nose and stuff and make it a little less wide and a little more pointy and stuff, you know, Europeanize it a little bit, whatever. And I like my nose, for the record. I used to not. I used to want like a skinny, raised, pointy nose. I like my nose now. I'm into my nose now. But either way it goes, I noticed this one where how I realized that they were fucking with my nose a little bit was because there's this one video that I posted a picture and they turned it into a mermaid AI, and it made my nose look like I was like inhaling air and exhaling it, like I was sniffing, and because my nose was, you know, expanding and contracting because the filter was shrinking it and making it slimmer, you know what I mean? So that was like kind of funny. But I noticed on a lot of them, they actually do let me keep my nose, which I like, you know. And you know, obviously it makes your skin look perfect and, you know, whatever. So I probably wouldn't look exactly like that, but it's reminiscent of what I feel like I would look like if I lost a lot of weight and stuff, whatever. And it kind of makes me a little bit sad. It makes me sad and hopeful at the same time, you know, looking at that. And I've heard about people taking filtered pictures of themselves into a plastic surgeon's office and saying, hey, can you make me look like this? Because it's like it's them, but it's them enhanced. And with me, you know, it's me with perfect hair, it's me with a slender body and stuff, whatever, but it's fantasy me, you know. But yeah, that I think to myself, like, you know what, if I looked like that, my life would be so much easier. I would get what I wanted if I looked like I do in those mermaid videos, you know. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying, you know. What else was I going to add to that? Okay. So the other day, I did some videos about smelling good, right? Because I have been getting so many compliments on how good I smell and everything. I found like a new fragrance combination. My old fragrance used to be like signature, used to be this pink sugar. As you can tell, it is almost gone, and I've gone through a bunch of bottles of this. Anyway, this plus and I'm gonna kill the name because I do not know how to say this name. I think it's French. The Atelier Cologne Vanille Incense or something, whatever. Again, I'm gonna kill the name. This is a discontinued product, and you can still get this from a lot of places, including discount stores like Ross and Marshalls and TJ Maxx and all that. And they used to sell it at Sephora. It used to be considered to be high end and everything. Anyway, and this by a company called Aquilina. Okay, so that used to be my signature, but I changed it up. My new signature is Amor de Cacao by Compter Sud Pacific. This is the main perfume I use, and I will spritz my wrist with Vanille Amber by Compter Sud Pacific as well. My hair smells like Lush Super Milk, which is a lemony, lactonic, sugary scent. I call it lemon cheesecake flavored scent, and people go crazy over it. It's insane. And then what is the other fragrance that I just now started using this, the Sol Janeiro. Well, this is the packaging. Where's the bottle? Here it is. This Sol Janeiro, and this is now available again. So if you pay attention to fragrances and you notice this got discontinued, now I saw it at Ulta, it's back. This is the coconut cream and toasted praline scent. Anyway, and I just like it. This doesn't last very long, but I just do like a little, you know, like, you know, whatever, to smell good. Oh, smells amazing. Anyway, and like I said, people have been just going, and I'm not one of those people where I'm a perfume bomb, just so you know. I don't wear like a crap ton of fragrance, and I don't have the kind of fragrance where my fragrance enters the room way before I do and stuff. I'm not like that. I take it easy with perfume for the most part. But that being said, I've been getting so many compliments. And anyway, the other day, I shortened the story. Ooh, just dropped my old phone. Anyway, I shortened the story when I was telling it on this perfume video I just did, but this is what happened. So, I was at this class for my daughter. I have my daughter in this recreational class and everything. I don't want to get too descriptive because I'm talking about my kid. But either way it goes. And this dad sat next to me. A nice looking white guy. Can tell he works out. Well, I just said he's nice looking, so he was attractive. I'm sure he was very married. And yeah, so he sits next to me, and I noticed he smelled good, right? I noticed he smelled good. And I'm gonna tell you who he smelled like, to be honest with you. He smelled like my dad. My dad has always smelled amazing. My dad is like a big cologne person, and he also likes to dress very nice. Okay, my father. And shout out daddy. Anyway, but yeah, my dad has always smelled good, and that's who this man smelled like. And I was just like, you know, but I didn't want to tell him, I didn't want to say, like, you smell like my dad, because I didn't know how that would go down. So I didn't want to tell him that, but I did ask him. I was like, what cologne are you wearing? And he told me it's something, if I'm not much mistaken, it was called Argus, the Triumph of Bacchus, or something along those lines. So if you're a fragrance nut, you might know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay. So, you know, but I was like, yeah, you know, I said, yeah, it smells really nice, you know, whatever. I was just curious, and I'm like looking it up in front of him, you know, because I was curious. I was like, is this something my dad has worn? And then I saw it said 2019, and I haven't seen my dad since 2019. But this is a scent that he smells like this. Like since I was a kid, he's had this scent like my dad. It's a very clean, mature, but not old, but mature, like a grown man. For, you know, like, it's not like an Axe body spray, if you know what I mean, you know, like a full bodied cologne. And it just smelled so good. And again, not in a, let me just say this, it's not trying to be creepy or anything, you know. Again, I'm telling you, he smelled like my dad, but I just thought it was very pleasant, you know what I mean? And anyway, so I complimented him on it, and he was like, yeah, you know, I noticed you smell really good too, you know, are you wearing, and then he guessed what I was wearing. He said, are you wearing Replica by the Fireplace? And I explained to him, no, I'm actually wearing, and I just mentioned the Vanilla Amber, because I didn't want to say, oh yeah, I'm wearing a million fragrances and stuff, whatever. So I just said, oh yeah, I'm wearing the Vanilla Amber, because that was one of the fragrances I had on. And especially when he said I smelled like By the Fireplace, I knew he was picking up on the Vanilla Amber, because it's a, that's this one. Because it's a like incense vanilla scent and everything, whatever. So yeah. So no by the fireplace. But anyway, and we were just chit-chatting a little bit about fragrances just for a smidgen. And I'm going to be honest with you. Okay, first off, like I said, I'm sure this man was extremely married. He was there with his daughter, okay? So I guess it was his turn to, take the little girl to this class or whatever. And, okay, I'm like trying to think of a nice way to put this, okay? Because I'm talking about what was probably a married man. But kind of like the way he interacted with me got me a little excited. Like, I don't know how to explain that. I don't know how to explain that. I know that's kind of awkward. And I don't mean excited like I was like ready to hump the furniture, but I just mean like it felt good to have an interaction like that with the male. And by the way, most of my compliments come from females. Most of the compliments I get, whether it's my looks, how I smell, whatever, most of them are from females. Okay. And I'm not going to lie, it feels good to get a compliment from a male. Now, I've heard some people say they prefer compliments from women. I guess it depends on what you're accustomed to, your situation. Like if let's say you're a woman who's happily involved with somebody, then it will probably feel better getting compliments from other women than from men because for one, a lot of times when I get a compliment from a man, my perception is, okay, what do you want? Like, what's going on? Because I feel like men, generally speaking, don't like to compliment women unless they find us attractive or they want something, but just to compliment us, I feel like they're not very good about that in general. You know what I mean? What was I going to say about this? In a weird way, and this is like a true confession, I felt like my weight was a weird barrier. Not that I would ever have pursued anything with him because I wouldn't have. No, okay. But I felt like being a morbidly obese woman made it so that it was not even, let's say he was divorced, it wouldn't even be on the table. You know what I mean? Like that was how I felt deep down inside. Like in one sense, I was like excited, but in another sense, I felt like deep down inside, I'm like, yeah, this guy is so far out of my league because of my obesity. You know what I mean? Like, I hope that makes sense. But yeah, I felt that way. And like, just where it's just like instantly I was like, yep, I know I don't qualify. It's like going into a store where getting damn well, if I go into Tiffany's, I know I can't afford anything at Tiffany's, okay? I mean, I already go into the store knowing I cannot afford a damn thing. That's what it kind of felt like in that interaction with him. It was like, oh, it's fun to be in Tiffany's, but I can't afford a damn thing in here, And so I'm just going to walk out empty-handed and smile at the sales associates and stuff like, well, have a nice day. That's kind of how I felt. And there was like deep down inside, there was kind of like a frustration there. Again, it's not that I wanted to pursue anything with him literally, but it's that I don't like being automatically not even in the running, whether he was single or not single or whatever his situation was, based purely off of my obesity. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, and I think that's a huge part of my frustration with men, that if I was someone who, I don't think I would be nearly as thirsty if I was someone who, when I went out, men showed me interest on a regular basis. I don't feel like I would be nearly as thirsty. I feel like my thirstiness comes from feeling like whether I want a man or don't want a man, I can't really have a man, which is not entirely true, but more like I can't have the type of man that I would want. Because I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to go after any of my exes as a specific individual, but I will just say that I settled for every ex that I ever had. and I don't ever want to settle again. Now, my idea of settling would not be, oh, he's got to make 6 figures. I mean, don't get me wrong, that'd be beautiful. Great. But no, that's not my idea of settling. Is like, if I, like, let's say it's a guy who makes $70,000 a year and it's like, oh, I settled for him. That's not my thought process. But I don't want to, if he's not someone who I would date 100 pounds from now, or at my goal weight, then I wouldn't want to date him now. You know what I mean? That's literally where I am in my life. I would not want to date him now if I wouldn't date him 100 or so pounds down from now, because one day I do plan on getting there, even if I have to, get Ozempic to get there, which I don't plan on it, but I'm just saying, even if that's the road that I had to take to get there, baby, I want to get there. Okay? So if I wouldn't want you at my quote unquote best, if you will, then I don't want you now. And so if that means being alone, then that's what it means. But, I choose to tell my personal thoughts that I think a lot of women go through, especially women like me go through, who don't get hit on very often. We go through this, but a lot of people are not transparent about it. And I choose to be transparent about it because I feel like I want to talk to people like me and people who can relate. Instead of just like, saying, oh, you don't need a man and forget guys and all that. And don't get me wrong, I watch that content. I love that content. I'm here for that content. So it's not that I'm against it, but hypocritically, a lot of the main women who I follow that talk that stuff have husbands. Some even have children with said husbands, but they talk all this smack about, and I do wonder, I was thinking about that earlier today, especially this one girl I follow, and I don't want to say her name, but this one chick I follow, I'll drop one clue. She's a Caucasian woman. And anyway, she talks the most junk about men. And I'm thinking, how can you be with the man, be with your man, and you have this much vitriol for men? How does that work? Because girl, you know what I mean? Like, she talks so hateful about men. And I mean, and again, I'm not trying to sound like a pick-me, even though I've called myself I'm a self-proclaimed pick-me, but no. I'm talking about just being fair, and I'm highly pro-woman. I told you guys, I like, just to give you guys an idea of some of my favorite creators: Cecilia Regina, YV Edit, okay, Shonda, let's see, Chrissy,